Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Soft Skills channel. And today we will talk about the nervousness and anxiety that you get before a senior leadership or management meeting. It's absolutely natural to get butterflies in your stomach or get nervous or anxious before your meeting with the top management because you don't know, what questions they are going to ask, how will I be treated? I hope they don't just start attacking me. So all these feelings are absolutely natural. And in this video, I will share with you 5 things you can do to overcome that feeling of nervousness and really get confident before your next leadership meeting. My name is Jameel Hye, and I've been working in the corporate sector for the last 19 years. And my passion is to help you build real life skills for your job and career that they don't teach you in college. So the first tip is understand the purpose of your meeting and state it at the very beginning. What do I mean by that? So most likely your leadership team is not calling you for a presentation just because they want to see your presentation skills. There must be a business reason or a specific area that they want to understand better, and that's why they are calling you for that meeting. So once you know that you have been called for the meeting, just try to understand what is the purpose, right? So either your line manager can help you or someone who is controlling the agenda of the meeting can tell you, okay, this is the purpose. And once you know what that purpose is, as you start presenting, just make sure that purpose is stated at the very beginning. Leaders don't like to dance around different topics, right? So it's very important that you give them the clarity that, okay, I'm here to present and this is the topic I'll be presenting and this is my agenda. And clarifying the purpose or the topic you'll be discussing at the very beginning will also give you the confidence so that you can stay on point and deliver your key messages. The second tip is anticipate the questions that the leaders may be asking you and prepare for them. As an example, let's say you are going to present a project which is going over budget. In that case, the leadership will be most likely interested in 3 questions. Question number 1, what caused the budget to go over? Question number 2, what are you trying to do to get the budget back on track? And question number 3, where do you need help from this leadership team? The third point is really important because remember, you're not just going into this meeting for the sake of a presentation. You're going to discuss a specific topic, problems associated with it. And in a typical organization, the leadership doesn't expect you to solve all the problems, right? So it's very important that you have that inclusive conversation and ask for their help when it's truly required. Maybe, for instance, in this case, you might need help from the head of department of IT, as an example. So most likely the CIO or the head of IT department will be in this meeting. So you can, ask for his help that, hey, I need your help in X, Y, and Z. So preparing for these kind of questions will once again help you fuel that confidence that you need so that your nervousness goes away. The third tip is a bit technical, but I would like to share it with you because I have personally found that extremely helpful, which is use waterfall charts to explain your story on numbers. Let's go back to the project example that we just talked about. You have a project which is going over budget because of some factors and you're doing some work to get it back on track. And then you definitely need some help. One of the most visual ways of showing this story is to use these waterfall charts, which you can see on your screen. What I like about these charts is that they help you tell that number story in a very, very visual way. And a lot of times it's easy to ground leadership team on a base. So in this case, you can see on the very left-hand side, there is the original budget of the project, which mostly, if this is the leadership team which approved the budget, a lot of these people might remember that number. So it's very easy for you to ground them and say, okay, this is the starting point. And then you show them like, these are the different factors why the project went over budget. And here are the different ideas I am working on to get this back on track. And then there is like an undefined area where like, I don't know what to do and I need some help. So you can also call that out. The fourth tip is double check the technology or the room depending on what kind of meeting this is. If it's a virtual meeting, make sure that you have a good stable internet connection because your confusion and nervousness can exponentially go up if you are, let's say, in a virtual meeting and suddenly your internet freezes. That is not helpful at all. Similarly, if you are in a face-to-face meeting and then you walk into the meeting room and then you don't know, how to plug your presentation or the technology in the room is something which you are not familiar with, that's not going to help your confidence in the presentation. So if you have a face-to-face meeting, maybe just going to that meeting room a day before and checking the technology. Make sure that you plug in your laptop or whatever device you're using. Make sure you are becoming friends with the technology in the room. That's very helpful. And then if you have a virtual meeting, make sure that you have a good stable internet connection. If you don't have a good stable internet connection, or at certain times of the day it goes out, then maybe going to your office on that day might be helpful, because normally like in offices the internet connection is relatively better. But of course you have to decide that based on your specific situation. But bottom line, this tip is about make sure that your technology is tested. Otherwise, if you're unable to present because of a technical glitch, then suddenly it can fuel a lot to your nervousness rather than giving you confidence. And the final tip is practice, practice, practice. I think this practice point I've mentioned in a lot of my other videos as well, which are about presentation skills and so on. And I think in one of my prior videos, which I'll try to put a link here, I have also given the example of someone like Steve Jobs, who was probably one of the best presenters ever born, but even he used to practice extensively. What we used to see with Jobs presenting so confidently on the stage, it happened because he was doing a lot of practice in the background. So if someone like Steve Jobs, who presented in so many mega events, he was practicing, then definitely you and I need to practice a lot. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have got any questions about this topic or any of the other content that we post on the Soft Skills channel, feel free to reach out to me on social media and I would be happy to answer your questions. Keep watching.